So Laura, welcome to the Executive Podcast. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome. And I guess, you're here today as well because you're celebrating 150 years of Innes Mackay.
Yes, we are.
So tell me, what does Innes Mackay do?
So Innes Mackay is a firm of solicitors and estate agent. We specialise in family law, private client law, which comprises executories, wills and powers of attorney, and property law. We also have an estate agency department as well, who can advertise property, croft or lands throughout the whole of the Highlands.
So a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, it does a lot. Now, your journey into it was quite different than the norm. Is that right? So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started out when I was about 18 in a firm of solicitors in Ayr. Then I moved back to Inverness with my family and I started at Innes Mackay just as a property administrator for one of the directors there in property law department. Then I moved on to doing my assessments in paralegal qualification, which is University of Strathclyde conveyancing paralegal. And after I obtained that, I moved on to doing the alternative route to becoming a solicitor, which means that you don't go to university at all. Mm-hmm. You study at home whilst working at the same time, and you sit examinations every 6 months with the Law Society of Scotland. After that's completed, you then go and do a diploma, which is now available online as well, and then do a 2-year traineeship afterwards. So in total, it takes around the same amount of time as the usual route to becoming a solicitor, but this way you get on the job, on hand experience at the same time.
And you're getting paid.
And you get paid, yes.
Yeah, which is
and
a
I
big thing.
could stay being a single mum at home with my 2 kids whilst working and gaining everything that I've got at the same time.
And that's amazing how that made that work. And was that something they had done before in Innes Mackay, or were you kind of the first one to do it there?
They had offered people to do it before at Innes Mackay, but no one, I believe, had completed it through Innes Mackay before. But we have had more people since me go down that route as well. One of our trainee solicitors, Amy MacLeod, has just finished her diploma and she's now starting with her traineeship. And Amy came to us, she came over from Stornoway. Mm-hmm. So she's about to go through her 2-year traineeship and then she'll be fully qualified as well. She's specialising in family law.
Yeah. And I think that's amazing because I think, in the Highlands, there is this thing we talk about of young people leaving the area and then not coming back, whereas this gives the opportunity for people to actually gain a degree in the area and stay here.
Yeah. The universities are getting much better. You can do the degree online now as well at night times too, and evenings and weekends to complete it, because if not, you have to move away from the Highlands. You just simply can't do it in the Highlands. It wasn't there prior to COVID, I think. So it is a great way, far better way, especially people on the islands that don't want to move away. Mm-hmm. You can obtain the same qualification that way using the alternative route, and it's something that we really want to promote and help people do and get people in the Highlands to stay within the profession.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I guess, we have talked about it's 150 years of Innes Mackay.
Yes.
You've obviously not been there all that time. No, obviously not. But what started off Innes Mackay? How did that come about?
So Innes Mackay was founded around about 1874 by Charles Innes and William Mackay, who were both very strong in promoting the Highlands and Islands and the Gaelic language. So Charles lived in Ballyferry House in Inverness, with William staying in Craigmony House in Inverness. Since then, there have been 4 generations of the Mackay family that have worked in Innes Mackay, and we're hoping to meet up with one of them soon so we can get some more information and put it out there. But they started the firm, and to start with, we were in Inverness, centre of Inverness, based in Union Street, and we found out recently from Angus Mackay actually that the old BT copper lines, the first call in the Inverness Exchange was made from Innes Mackay to McAndrew and Jenkins.
That's cool.
Solicitors. Very cool.
Yeah.
There's some very cool facts about our history actually. And I love it.
Yeah. And I guess, you're now, that's a long time for a firm to exist in the Highlands. It's incredible. What do you think why has it stayed? What's been the things that have led it to just be where it is today?
Personally, I believe it's our ethos of supporting local. continuing to support local. And that doesn't even just mean local suppliers and businesses. It's investing time back in people through alternative routes and paralegals. And a lot of our staff are very loyal. The current owner, Jane Young, was the second female solicitor to work within the firm and has now been there. She's the longest serving female solicitor in the firm. Has been there for over 33 years. Most staff have been there for years and years and years on end. I think our previous cashier was there for 40 years.
Amazing.
And there's generations of employees that stay with the business as well. The cashier's daughter now works in our estate agency department. And it's generations of families and employees that stay with the firm, and that's what keeps us going.
And it just shows that it's a good place to work then.
Yeah, great place to work.
Yeah. What is it you love about it?
We are not what you would class as what I would say your normal expectations would be of solicitors firm. We're open plan office. We like to have a laugh. It's a very stressful job. So we do like to have a laugh every day. And we are very much, we come in the door at 9 o'clock, apply ourselves fully throughout the day and leave at 5. We try to get that work-life balance nailed because that makes everyone much happier.
Definitely. And I guess that must have been so important for you, what you said, you know, you're a single mum, having to juggle work and everything as well, to be able to know that that was your hours and that was it.
Yeah. So I would work 9 to 5, go home, deal with the kids, put them to bed, start studying. That was my routine for a good few years. But yeah, it's because we were so strict on applying ourselves during working hours that it helped me do that at nights.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a really good work ethic and work-life balance as well. And I guess then, what has been the challenges for the firm over the 150 years?
I suppose the main challenge, as with everything, is when credit crunches hit or COVID hits, the property market can take an impact on that, or people's lives in general take an impact on that. We're a service provider. We're very lucky that we do live in the Highlands. The property market up here doesn't seem to be affected as much as other places do with things. And through COVID, it's actually helped us expand our business further. We've now just taken on our first person working fully remotely for us, a solicitor.
Okay.
Because we can do things via video call now. Most court appearances are via video call. You don't have to physically go places in person anymore. So COVID's actually, whilst it wasn't great, it wasn't the best time in the world, it's opened up so many different opportunities for us that's helped us expand and progress.
No, that's, yeah. And I think it's using those challenges, isn't it, to then expand what your business does and pivot on what you're already doing.
Yeah.
It's provided that opportunity. And I mean, I guess for you, what does a day in the life look like for you?
Very hectic normally. I'm not going to lie. You have to be, as a solicitor, you've got to be very good at juggling and sticking to deadlines. So whilst you might have a plan in your head of what you're going to do that day, you have to sometimes throw that plan out the window at very short notice and pick up something else instead. So yeah, as long as you're organised, things work very well, but you do get sprung with a lot of different things at the same time. And networking, I love doing networking as well. So every Wednesday morning today, I get up and I go to my networking event in the morning, carry out networking opportunities. Then we have directors meetings on Wednesdays. So there's we're still running the business at the same time. So for me, it's very varied in the work that I do on a daily basis.
Yeah, it sounds it. Something new every day.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And what do you love about networking?
Just meeting new people and being able to promote the business more and expand the reach more, let more people know about Innes Mackay that I've never heard of them before. And I love helping other people as well. So making the connections to keep everything local, keep our stationery supply local, keep our printing and things local. Everything that we can do to support local businesses, much like the executive and the business club, we're very keen to get on board with that because it's a great thing to support.
Yeah, and I guess that is your USP then, is it? Is that Innes Mackay's thing that sets you apart? Is that helping local and being for local?
Yeah. The founders were very much part of that as well. William Mackay was very instrumental in the British Aluminium Company at Foyers. in getting the works going on there, and they carried out a lot of work on various estates factored in the Highlands as well. I think at one point in time they were factoring 25 estates, which was helped the Highlands grow at the time, and they were involved in a lot of clearance cases in the islands as well. So they were very much a part of supporting local. They helped write books about the Highlands and islands and the Gaelic language. We just like to stick to our roots, really.
Yeah, and it's quite a legacy for them to have left as well. And I guess just now then, are you talked a little bit about property and it maybe not affecting the Highlands so much, but there is a housing issue happening in the Highlands. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah,
and
there's a lack of housing. Yeah, there is a lack of housing, and it might be due to various factors. When COVID happened, a lot of people decided to move more rural, whereas before people weren't maybe going as rural as what they were. And with the advances in technology and Starlink and things like that, you can just work anywhere now and have your job anywhere in the world and work remote. But yeah, there is a shortage of houses in the Highlands.
And are you finding that as well as, in your business? Are you getting a lot of people coming in and saying that?
Yes, and especially in the estate agency department, we used to sit with 50 to 60 properties at a time on the market, actively being marketed. Now, you can never get back to that stages because things are going on and off the market so quickly that the whole dynamic of properties just changed completely.
Yeah, and how is that for the team? Is that
they're
change their
busier.
workload? Are they busier?
Yeah, much busier. And actually, this year we always look at stats and things, and their stats this year compared to competitors are far better than what they've ever been before.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Maybe not the lack of housing in the Highlands is not great, but for you guys as a business, that is fabulous. And I guess then, how many have you got in a team then? How many of you are there in total at Innes Mackay?
In the office now, there's around 20 staff. There's various different departments. So the family law department are probably our biggest department at the moment, and we've had a few changes lately, but we're building again, we're growing, we're ready to go out and keep growing and keep this going for another 150 years if possible.
Yeah. Are you doing anything to celebrate?
Yes, we will be. There is news coming out on what we're doing. It's in the pipeline. So we will be, watch this space, we'll be announcing it hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. Oh, that's exciting. It's very, mysterious.
I know, very mysterious. We're still firming up on the details. So.
Okay. No, that's amazing. And I guess, you have just got, how is it for recruiting people as well? Have you found that easy for getting people into the business?
No, it's really, really difficult to recruit. And I think you find this in most professions now. Getting professionals into the Highlands is so difficult. It's unbelievable. And that's why we are going down the route and have been for a while of growing our own. Taking people in who maybe have no qualifications whatsoever like I did, and giving them that opportunity to get a qualification, stay within the Highlands and get within the profession.
So would you encourage maybe young people that have maybe just left school, not sure what they want to do with their lives, just get maybe in touch with you and see what is on offer? Yeah.
Always be on the lookout. Everyone's always on the lookout. All solicitors in Inverness are always on the lookout for trainees to come in and work, or admin people. The sky's the limit in Innes Mackay. You can be whoever you want to be. We're happy to give people the opportunity to do that, and I'm sure a lot of other solicitors firms are the same, because we all want to support each other. We don't want to see local firms going away. We want to stay together.
Yeah, because it is important.
Yeah.
It is. Because it helps the economy in the Highlands anyway. What do you think is the thing that makes the Highland economy or business community stand out? What makes it different from other parts of Scotland?
I think we're all very supportive of each other. And I think the whole support local is a lot stronger in the Highlands. And we all know each other as well. It's a very small place. So as soon as you start making a connection with one person, you can make connections with a lot more people. And I've found that since I've started networking in August last year, my connections and contacts are growing so much Because as soon as you speak to one person in a business, they know 5 other people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can spread throughout the Highlands really quickly if you stick together.
Yeah, and I think that's really, it is special because there's always had to be this thing, I guess, there's always had to be this thing that the Highlands have had to be resilient, I guess, and almost stand on its own.
Yeah.
Whereas I guess that's where that community and connection comes from, is that?
Yeah.
Do you think?
I think it is that we all do stick together, support each other, promote each other. Don't really like outsiders coming in. We don't want national firms taking us over.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for every profession. We all want to have our own local businesses to support, to keep the money in the Highland economy that we've worked so hard for.
Yeah. And what do you think is the biggest issue facing the Highland business community at the moment?
Recruitment. Recruitment is the major issue. Getting professionals into the Highlands is the major issue at the moment. So housing might have a big part to do with that. House prices are a lot more expensive in the Highlands compared to the Central Belt and things in comparison to wages. So it's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah. And I guess for you then, what is your favourite part about the job day to day?
The diversity of what I get to do. I love helping my clients. I love giving advice. I love being able to phone them and say, that's your keys ready for your new home. You can go and collect them now. I just love helping people and being able to give them that start in life and get going, teaching.
And have you always been quite a people person?
Yes, I think I have been. I'm shy at times, but I'm getting better now. But yeah, I just love helping people. That's always what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and I guess the job gives you that. I guess it's more than just a wage for you. It's that intrinsic value that your job gives you.
Yes, it is. You're helping people get a start in life, and you're helping them at all different stages in life as well. It can be, the people I deal with can be really diverse too. First-time buyers to people that are having to sell their parents' home that they've had for tens of years, and you get different. It's very varied in the clientele that I have to deal with.
And I guess a big part of that is having empathy for people.
Yes, it can be quite difficult at times, and I think sometimes as a solicitor you have to switch your feelings off, and be the strong person there for the client and hold their hand and try and just be an ear for them to listen to.
Yeah. And I guess then if people have got this idea of what a solicitor does, but it's probably just the tip of an iceberg. What is it underneath? Like, what are the things that people probably don't know about or you wish that they knew that solicitors have to do?
The amount of legislation we have to stick to. The silly things like having to, for money laundering purposes, we have to Google someone to see if there's any negative press about them. And that takes up quite a lot of time. It is silly things like that. There's a lot of different things we have to do. We have to work with multiple different companies every single day to bring the end product of buying or selling a house for someone. Sorry, I always speak in terms of what my side of
That's okay.
my side of the business does. But yeah, it's the amount of paperwork and regulations and timelines and deadlines, and we always have multiple clients on the go at one time. And I think it's very difficult sometimes to say to someone, I'm really, really do my best, but this one has to come first. You have to prioritise. And prioritising is sometimes not the easiest thing to do when everyone wants their stuff done first.
And have you learnt that over the years? Has that become easier for you?
Slightly, yes. Yes. I think I am really good at prioritising now. I hope I always manage to get everyone in their houses on the day I promised. I think that's something I have learned over time.
What do you think is the skill that you've developed the most in your time at Innes Mackay?
Organisation is the key. Organisation and problem solving. Problem solving is actually, I really enjoy problem solving if you get a nice, juicy, difficult title with lots of crofting issues, which you only find in the Highlands.
Yeah.
It's like our own little law that no one else really knows about. Problem solving is good. If you get a nice old juicy title that's got joined up handwriting that you have to read and decipher, and all these old words from 17 and 1800s that you just can't make out what they say, and you have to figure it out. A lot of words in Latin as well.
Oh,
A
wow.
lot of Googling Latin words.
So what does that look? Because I've never bought a house. Like, I don't know what that look. What does that title mean? What is that?
So the title deeds are the document for the property, for the who owns the property, and the historic owners of the property as well. So it'll come right back to where the property was first split off from the estate. So the likes of when William Mackay owned Craigmony House, a lot of the houses round about were actually part of his original title, and he sold parts of the title off and given land to people to build houses. So it's deeds like those which used to be handwritten, and they're very hard to, not that easy to read sometimes. Everything is going into the land register now and being typed up, but we're in the Highlands and everything doesn't get sold as quickly as what it does elsewhere. So properties don't tend to change hands as quickly here as what they do everywhere else. So we're very still old school.
So do you have to keep those title deeds over the years?
Yes.
See, that's, if I knew that, I would probably be the person that would bin it and not understand that it was important.
Well, you don't, once you buy a house now and it goes onto the land register, it's all digital.
Okay.
So you don't need those documents anymore. But yes, we have big title deed safes that are stored in Invergordon. All our titles are there. Storing all the titles, because the packs of title deeds would be, they'd be lever arch folder big, if not more sometimes. And if you're looking at title deeds for an estate, the title deeds could be a box, two boxes full of titles that you have to read through.
What happens if one's missing?
You can order copies.
Okay.
The registers of Scotland have copies of everything, so you can get them.
Yeah, that would be my plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare for me, honestly. I was like, that sounds stressful. Really stressful. No, that's really interesting, actually. I learned something there about title deeds. And I guess what I wanted to know about for you as well is that if you could go back to when you were younger, what was it you wanted to be? Maybe when you were like 16, 17. Did you ever think that you'd be a solicitor? Was that the plan?
I wanted to be an accountant.
Interesting.
Yeah. I always thought I was going to be an accountant, and I always wanted to get in. And it was the accounts route I followed. And I went into the first firm that I worked in doing the account side of things. It wasn't the legal side of things that I was doing. And then I switched to the legal side of things. Everyone still has to, every solicitor still needs to know the legal side, and we actually have to do exams and things on the accounting side, and we have to do exams on the accounting side as well. So it still plays a part in it, but yeah, I changed completely.
Yeah, but you've still got a little bit of that accountancy in there.
Still have to know it.
No, that's amazing. And I guess for you as well, that what have you found the most challenging thing over the years personally, not just for the business, but has it been the organisation prioritising or juggling life and work?
It's more juggling the transactions that you have on. Sometimes it can be everyone wants you to do something on the same day, and it's trying to prioritise and decide which ones you don't want to deal with. Yeah. Well, not that you don't want to deal with, which ones you have to deal with first. Which ones are settling first are normally ones that need to go first.
Yeah. Due to your busy work that you have, what do you do to have downtime in the evenings? How do you relax outside of work when it is full on?
Outside of work, I normally like to just go home at night, get the fire on. This is my new thing. Get the fire on. I either go for a walk, or I really enjoy cross-stitching as well and crafting. And that is my downtime. I like to switch off and then I don't think about anything else. Or reality TV always helps.
And what's your favourite?
It was Love Island, but I'm going off that now.
No, that's great. And I guess my last question for you then is, if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self that was just going into, where you are now, what would be the piece of advice or a saying or a mantra that you would give yourself that you'd wish you'd known, that you would keep?
That you don't need to have all the answers straight away. And I like to I tell my children this, you don't need to know what you want to do. You can go back, you can retrain at any stage in life. I was 30 when I qualified, or in my early 30s. You can change your path at whatever time you want. So if you don't enjoy what you're doing, try something else and you will get there eventually.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. I like that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank
It's been
you.
great.